I think by now they understand yung ano ni Inday na pagka meron siyang pag meron siyang gustong ilalaban talaga niya ng patayan. I think by now they are starting to understand kung bakit sinabi ni PRRD na mas matindi tong si Inday kaysa sa kanya. Kasi ano si Inday yung parang
so assuming na ma-reappoint siya, he needs again to be reappointed. Malabo talaga this year. So after June 30, he still needs to be reappointed. So ay, sabi ni Maverick, balita si Sandro ipapalit ni Lisa kay Tambi.
Yung holdover daw, yung June 2 to 20th Congress.
Kasi ikukudeta siya.
Ang sabi kasi June 2 daw kudeta na sa House of Representatives. And I think parang si Toby yata, if ever na magiging, kasi di ba ang nagfo-float Attorney Trix, pinupush daw si Albi Benitez na mag-House Speaker. But Albi Benitez is an incoming congressman kasi mayor yan
Congress pa.
Congress pa siya. Posible naman na mag-House Speaker talaga si Toby, pero baka mamaya yung interim lang before the 20th Congress, which is June 2 to June 30. Ganun. Baka ganun. They're going to tell their teachers na, kailangan i-educate nyo ang mga estudyante ninyo na walang free education kung wala si Bam Aquino, ganyan. Very yung, I think, kasi di ba they're always blaming us dun sa machinery ng disinformation, ganyan. Pero ito talaga mga yellow, sila talaga ang merong machinery for disinformation. I mean, yung mga tao, yung mga supporters nila, I don't know how they do it, na parang talaga, you really ask these people para magkalat at i-brainwash yung mga tao sa school, na si Bam Aquino ang may kasalanan ng free tertiary education. Diba? Parang, kayo, grabe talaga. Pagkatapos, and there are, ito yung mga nakausap ko talaga, they provided me, links and screenshots ng mga supervisor nila na bineberate sila just because they corrected their superintendents in claiming na it's Bam Aquino who's the cause of the free tertiary education. Binerate talaga sila na parang ikaw teacher ano ka pa naman si Bam Aquino ang ganyan pagkatapos pinapahiya nila yung mga teachers na nag-disagree sa kanila. So I felt na kung ganito yung ginagawa nila dun sa mga adult na kumukontra sa kanila, anong sinasabi nila dun sa mga estudyante? Diba? Wala tayo dun hindi natin nakikita yun Diba? Anong sinasabi nila dun sa mga estudyante? Ayun.
Pero, the Free Tertiary Education Act was passed during Noynoy Aquino's term. So, and there was a full 2 years, walang nangyari. Even if it was funded, walang nakaramdam. Kasi, look, UP did not implement it until PRD said implement it. Yeah. I
do not know kung naabutan mo sa UP na ang taas-taas ng tuition fee sa UP before
it was my generation, yung 600% tuition fee increase care of Sani Angara's dad.
Yeah. Ano ka nun? Ang tuition fee sa UP nung 27,000, 30,000 pesos.
Aray ko, layo na. Nung pumasok ako sa UP, tuition was something like 220 pesos. Tapos scholar ako ng AFP, ang binabayad na nanay ko sa tuition ko, 50 pesos. Kami ng ate ko. Tapos, 600% increase. And then after a while, so nagbabayad na ako ng 1,000 plus. Well, ang ina-assess namin nasa 1,000 na, 1,000 something or other. Pero because nga, scholar ako ng AFP for something like 2 years, ganun pa rin, 50 pesos pa rin ang binabayad ko kahit nag 600% tuition fee increase. And then in law school, mahal na. Kaya nagsa-student loan pa ako. Well, mahal meant, ang full tuition namin was something like 6,000 or 7,000 pesos per sem. So,
mura pa rin, pero
socialized ang tuition fee naman namin noon. So, ang binabayad ko was something like 1,300. Sinu-student loan ko pa yun. Ganun ako kadukha noon. Kasi, wala na ako sa padal ng nanay ko. So, but still, ganun pa rin yung binabayad namin. And mabigat pa rin. Kasi if you consider yung income mo, how much you were making, as compared to how much you would pay sa tuition fee, talagang hindi ka magsusurvive kung hindi kami naka-socialized. So later on nung mga, much later, nagtuturo na ako in other schools. Sa Ateneo kasi ako nagturo, talagang dinadala ko yung mga estudyante ko sa UP, tapos nagko-compare ako, how much is your tuition fee? Grabe yung mga estudyante ko, yung per sem nila, was, nasa 200 plus thousand na. Tapos sa UP 30,000, sabi ko, kuwawa naman pala talaga.
Ako, Attorney Trix, ang inabot ko lang naman, ang tuition fee ko noon, parang 250 per unit yata ako noon ito. Ganun, 250 per unit. So parang wala naman ako mga laboratories kasi yun yung nagpapamahal eh. So ang binabayaran ko lang tuition at saka yung miscellaneous. So ang tuition fee ko per semester para mga nasa around 3,000 to 4,000 pesos lang per sem. Ganon. Tapos when I graduated in 2004, yung siguro mga 2 or 3 school years after, doon na nag-increase ng bonggang-bongga. Parang yun na yung nagulat na ako na parang ang binabayaran ng mga estudyante, 27,000, 30,000, gano'n.
Ayun, grabe.
Oo. And then, kaya nung immediately, ganun yung bayaran ng tuition fee up until 2017, second sem 2017, nung in-implement na ni PRRD, yung biglang tuition.
No more tuition. Ang galing ng no more tuition. And remember, nung in-implement yan ni PRD, the law had already been in effect ng ilang taon. 'Di ba? Kasi pinasa yan panahon ni Noynoy eh. So, in-implement yan ni PRD not even in the first year of his
presidency. Ano siya tawag dito? Bill was actually submitted, yung free tertiary education.
Ay, oo, si PRD ang pumirma.
Si PRRD ang pumirma. Panahon ni Pinoy, Ralph Recto has the same bill na pinasa ni Ralph Recto no 16th Congress, Pinoy president pa. Same bill, ni-refile niya ng 17th Congress, PRRD na yung president. PRRD na yung president. Yung
whose bill was it?
Ralph Recto. It's Ralph Recto's.
So it's Ralph Recto's bill.
Siya yung may pinakaunang version. Basically, kaya ang principal authorship was credited to him. Kasi siya talaga yung merong pinakaunang version ng free education. Ngayon, 10 of them have their own version filed in separate times. So ngayon, nag-file nung 17th Congress 2017, kinonsolidate nila yung bill, send it to the plenary, and eventually naging batas na siya. Naging batas na nga ito.
PRD's time, he implemented right away. So it was Ralph Recto's bill.
It was Ralph Recto's bill. So ngayon, 2017,
bill was Noynoy's term. Kaya ako na-confuse. Yung bill ni panahon ni Noynoy. Pero yung ni-refile na bill ni Ralph Recto, panahon ni PRD.
Ralph Recto filed a bill in the 16th Congress and then refiled it on the 17th Congress.
Yeah.
Pagdating sa 17th Congress, nag-file din si Bam Aquino ng sariling version niya ng bill. But the principal authorship was credited to Ralph Recto kasi nga pinail niya na yun nung panahon ni Pinoy eh.
So siya yung primary author.
siya yung primary author. Ayun. And then it was approved and sent to the naging enrolled bill na siya July 2017. Pinirmahan ni PRRD ng early August of 2017. And then second sem, after that, in-implement niya na. Ayun.
I see. So, tama. Not exactly, kumbaga, quibbling pa rin siya. He's still quibbling. Pero man, sa totoo lang, nobody thought that would pass. Nobody thought until PRD said, ipasa nyo yan because that was part of his program. And then when he did, nobody thought that he would insist that everybody follow it. So ang UP late yan nag-implement, di ba? It was a second sem or not on the first year of implementation. Humingi sila ng oras at sinabi, gagawin namin. Just give us some time para makabawi. Ma-implement kung ano yung rules. Wala na. Before that, it was socialized, di ba? Socialized tuition fee sa atin. Tapos, biglang, wala na. Free
na. Libre na. Ayun.
Pero tapos,
ay, binabayaran na lang ngayon ng mga estudyante sa UP, miscellaneous na lang eh. Tapos, yung iba pa, parang yun nga, nag-e-end up 50 pesos.
Sa masters, may tuition na. Kasi yung guaranteed is for undergraduate and and medicine. So yun yung mga So that's why sa masters, mura pa rin ng UP because I only pay something like 5,000 pesos per sem. Depending on how many classes I take. So marami na yung at 90 days, parang ganun din lang ako. So, kaya ang saya kaya mag-aral ulit. I can't imagine myself not being in school. So, pero, tingnan mo naman at how it's, and nobody questioned during the course of the election campaign, during all of the discussions on tuition, on the free tertiary education, nobody bothered to ask or to find out but that this administration has been slowly defunding the free tertiary education program. So, and it began as early as 2022. Kasi ginawang policy yan eh. So, kumbaga, it's not in the president's agenda to ensure that everybody gets to go to college. Kasi yung problema dito sa Pilipinas, we require college degrees for even non-professional work. For diba, it's ridiculous. Minsan you ask even in restaurants, in retail, in where hindi natin nakikita the need for a college education, ganun pa rin. So masyadong bloated. Natatawa ka ako eh. I used to make jokes about it sa Karambola. Yung must be college graduate. Tapos,
and pleasing personality.
The pleasing personality. Sabi ko, ano kaya yung pleasing personality? Marunong mag-please. Tapos, even worse, young, di ba? 18 years old, with pleasing personality, college graduate, 10 million years of experience in the retail industry. It's ridiculous the way that we allow the employers to set ridiculous standards for us. For me kasi, going to college should be something that we want to do. I've seen so many na pinilit natin to go to college and then they take a long time doing it because they don't know what to do. I think we should normalize, gaya ng ginagawa nila abroad, is that they go to college when they're ready. Not when we say, not when they're, so that they know what they want.
Hindi mechanical na, ay kasi kailangan na, tapos ka na, diretso ka na, ganyan.
Dito kasi, it's efficiency and productivity that's necessary. Kasi nga, marami pa rin sa atin ang mahihirap.
Oo. And we should normalize acquiring skills. 'Di ba? We should normalize acquiring skills. Like, for example, ayaw mo munang mag-college, o di sige, mag-carpentry ka muna, mag-culinary school ka muna, 'di ba, baking class or whatsoever, ganyan-ganyan. We should normalize acquiring skills also. So, para hindi yung, yung, hindi, 'di ba,
Thankful nga ako eh.
multi-skilled, dapat multi-skilled.
Thankful for the internet. Thank you, YouTube. Dami mo nang natututunan. Yung mga lahat ng hindi ko naintindihan noon sa basic physics ko, nabalikan ko sa YouTube. Maraming salamat. Ang hindi ko lang naaaral pa yung mga biostat at saka yung biochem ko. Talaga, I really have to go back to school for that. So, assuming na ma-reappoint siya, he needs again to be reappointed. Malabo talaga this year. So, after June 30, he still needs to be reappointed. So, sabi ni Maverick, balita si Sandro ipapalit ni Lisa kay Tambi.
Yung holdover daw, yung June 2 to 20th Congress.
Kasi ikukudeta siya.
Ang sabi kasi June 2 daw kudeta na sa House of Representatives eh. And I think parang si Toby yata, if ever na magiging, kasi di ba ang nagfo-float Attorney Trix, pinupush daw si Albi Benitez na mag-House Speaker. But Albi Benitez is an incoming congressman kasi mayor yan eh.
Congress pa.
Congress pa siya. Posible naman na mag-House Speaker talaga si Toby, pero baka mamaya yung interim lang before the 20th Congress, which is June 2 to June 30. Ganun. Baka ganun.
For June. Pero why would they leak the date? Baka kaya so it's even more advanced. Baka kaya humihirit si Congressman Suarez na we have a super majority. So hindi matutuloy yung kudeta na yan.
Well, hindi matutuloy sa June 2, but it doesn't mean immune sila sa 20th Congress.
Correct. Diba? It doesn't mean speaker pa rin siya sa 20th Congress.
Ayun.
Sabi ni Pogs, for now, I think Toby's side is just a narrative. Much better if kay BBM talaga galing yung sinasabi niya to confirm. Galing nga kay BBM.
Galing kay BBM. Sinasabi naman niya. Sinasabi ni BBM, wala lang naniniwala.
Diba? Hindi siya interesado sa impeachment. And the reasons are obvious. So, galing kay BBM yung mga yan. Ang ayaw lang ni BBM is, ang daming detalye na lumabas. So, it looks like it makes him look like he has no control, which he really doesn't. It makes him look like, like, pinababayaan niya yung corruption, that his administration is corrupt. So yun yung alam ko na nainis sila because he talked too much. There's just way too many details. Parang whoa, too much information. Ako, okay lang, wasn't too much for me. Pero kuha ko lang, more pa akong Toby. Baka may tinatapos pa dyan. So ang tingin ko, nainis lang sina presidente kasi nga there's way too much he talked too much, ang dami-daming lumalabas. Kaya naging choice pa, or one of the choices si Kong Albi. Pero if ever, yun na nga sa 20th Congress pa siya. But from what I hear, he's already talking to other congressmen. So it looks like he's very, very confident na siya na.
Oo. Kanya-kanya na nga raw usap-usap, Attorney Trix eh. At least Kong Toby confirmed na si Martin ay nagko-consolidate na, di ba, parang meron siya sinabi na meeting sa Shangri-La, ganyan-ganyan.
2 araw nga daw ang meetings. The congressman, sabi, with Pero si Kong Albi meron din pa meeting.
Oo. True. Ngayon, Ang question doon, ano magiging bargaining ano ni Martin, kung hindi na siya kasi the reason why, isa naman sa mga reason kung bakit, nag-line yung support kay Martin sa House of Representative. Dahil nga dun sa impression na, pinsan siya ng pangulo, so madali 'di ba, yung easy breezy lahat ng mga decision making, yung support and things like that, ganyan. If there is a clear divorce doon sa Malacanang, sa suporta ng Malacanang sa leadership ng House of Representatives, of course, it's not gonna be easy for Martin. And I think for the first time, Martin would feel how it is to be all alone.
Diba?
To be all alone. Kasi
Or
whatever Martin has as a political capital, he owes it to BBM lang rin naman eh. Yung 14% niya, kaya siya merong 14%, it's really from BBM. Si BBM bagsak na rin yung wala na ring maibibigay si BBM na political capital kay Martin. So ngayon si Martin, ano matitira sa kanya? Matitira sa kanya yung fact na pinagbibigyan niya ng mga ayuda tong mga to, yung mga hindi naman sila hindi naman sila, I mean, I don't think they are that protected after niyang pagbibigyan niya ng mga pera. Parang hindi naman kinuha yun. I don't think magkakaroon ng mga utang na loob aspect yung mga pinagbibigyan niya ng mga soft project, infra project, at saka ng cash. Na later, hindi, susuporta pa rin namin si Martin dahil binigyan niya kami ng mga ganito. Well, I'm interested to see how it's going to play out in the next coming days.
Ang pino-project ni Kong Toby is that he's more populist. Kumbaga, hindi popular ang impeachment, let's not do that. Hindi popular yung ginawa kay PRD, let's not do that. These things led us to lose the election. So, ang project niya is populist siya. Kasi may question dito. Ang sabi ni Thers, paano naman kung maging speaker si Toby? So, kung may impeachment na i-file po ba sa mga commissioners ng COMELEC or kay PBBM makakalusot ba? We don't know that. So, at least, kasi nung time ni Martin, if it was Martin, sure tayo walang makakalusot. But with Kong Toby going for a populist approach, at wala naman silang anything to lose, kumbaga, hindi naman, kung assuming lang this is the good faith assumption. Well, let's say hindi sila worried na kasi karamihan sa kanila unopposed ang pagtatakbo, kaya ang dali ng mga panalo nila. So if they have nothing to fear, let's say sa commissioner, let's say si George Garcia ang inimpeach ng Kongreso, they're going, like I said, they have a lot of repairing to do dun sa publiko. Ako, there's at least a small chance under any person who is not Speaker Martin, any person who is not Congressman Martin, there's still, it's still small, but it's a fighting chance at least with any impeachment complaint to be filed in the House.
May Attorney Trix, sabi ko nga, kung yung laban sa House speakership is between Martin and Toby, better na si Toby, definitely. Si Toby na yun. Kumbaga, if the narrative is, if I am the one to dictate the narrative, si Kong Toby na. In fact, kahit pa si Albi, nandyan si Albi sa kunwari tatlo sila, I would still choose Toby Chanco to be the House Speaker. At least he would be the best for us, for the Filipino people na maging speaker diyan kung tatlo lang sila. Pero kung kunwari magkakaroon ng player na hindi hawak ng Malacanang at all, who is also neutral, who is also not an ally of Martin Romualdez, it will going to make the race to House speakership more interesting. Mas okay yon kung meron pang-apat. But kung kunwari tatlo nga lang yung laban na yan, at least si Toby Chanco, kahit papano, the way he tells his story, makita mo kahit papano grounded siya na nakita niya na impeachment is really not a good idea. Nakita niya na meron talagang problema sa budget, yung mga ganun. Oo. So, kumbaga, hindi sila in denial sa mga ganyan. Kasi, kung Martin Romualdez, leadership yan, walang problema, walang issue. 'Di ba? Go lang tayo sa impeachment, walang problema ang national budget, let's do it all over again. Ganun lang yung ano eh. Kung if it is a Martin Romualdez led House of Representatives, ganun lang siya. Eh at least kahit papaano ito kung si Toby, I am not saying na I am not saying na kumbaga meron din tayong mga challenges diyan kasi syempre ang nakita niyo naman very ano siya na i-defend ang Malacanang, very ano siya na i-defend yung na walang kasalanan ng pangulo, yung mga gano'n. Very keen siya on doing that. Pero ibig ko sabihin, if Tamby is out, we have one less problem. 'Di ba?
So, ito sabi ni Cal, doesn't VP afford you immunity? Being VP doesn't afford you immunity like the president. So if a crime is truly the concern, why not file a case like one normally would? Because a case takes time. Impeachment, what yan, daily ang ang hearings. Pero with the filing of a criminal complaint, if your purpose is disqualification, it could take years. Baka umabot na at makalampas na yung susunod na eleksyon, hindi pa rin tapos yung kaso. So, remember that the mere filing of a case doesn't disqualify you. It's the judgment. It's the conviction by final judgment. Kunwari, convicted ka sa RTC pero inapila mo sa CA, hindi yun final judgment. So you can still continue in your job or you can continue to participate in elections. Why not?
Sabi ni Red, Attorney Trix, Red Canales, sabi, it would be more interesting if Pulong can grab the speakership from them and support an impeachment against BBM. Oh, yun yung ideal situation.
That's ideal. Oh. Yun naman ang hinahabol natin talaga. Of course, you want Pulong. Kasi bang
yan ang ideal situation. Pero kasi, even if hindi yan mangyayari, yung nervyos na ibibigay sa kanila nitong mga insinuations ni Inday is all worth it. Kahit hindi mangyari yun, di ba? Kahit hindi maging totoo, at least ninervyosin sila ng sagad, di sila makakatulog sa gabi.
Ito, sabi ni YVC, why not consider Kong Pulong as speaker? Well, in the first place, kasi hindi naman kami yung nagboboto dyan. It's the congressmen who will be voting for speaker. At tapos meron din mga concerns yan about may majority, may minority, etc. So may majority speaker, may majority leader ka pa, meron ka minority leader, and so on. So marami pang positions that are also under consideration. So, of course, we will always consider Kong Pulong. Diba? If we can snatch it from any of them, tuwa ko lang.
Why not? Correct. Yeah, impeachment is also an exposure. Ay, teka. Attorney Trix, what do you think about the What do you think about Leila de Lima, Chel Jokno, being part of the prosecution team ng impeachment?
Assuming hindi siya ma-dismiss right away. Kasi ako, if I were Cheese, to save face, I'd facilitate an immediate dismissal. Hindi na magta-trial. Kasi magiging circus pa. Considering the mood of the people, yung mga nagigising na DDS, yung mga back in fighting for the DDS, will just get more and more reasons on a daily basis why they should continue to speak up against this administration. Parang for me, it's a kiss of death yan kung itutuloy mo yung impeachment. Lalo na, they don't have the evidence because on the matter of the confidential funds, the biggest evidence will still be the COA decision. And if there is no decision, late or otherwise, then the presumption of innocence will prevail. Good luck.
Kaso ba, pagka biglang maglabas ng decision si COA?
Pwede rin, but considering, kasi mahirap i-predict. Si Lial Cordova, di ba, is the COA chair. Mahaba.
Si Inday parang nagsabi na si Inday noon na, yes, parang ano yun, di ba parang sinabi niya meron daw video to si Cordova agreeing na meron daw talagang kasalanan si Inday. If I remember it correctly. Merong ano si Inday, may press con si Inday na sinabi niya, ikaw Cordova, merong video, parang merong recording na nagsasalita ka about na meron talagang ginawang mali si Inday doon sa ano. So kumbaga parang he facilitated all of this, yung mga Mary Grace Piatos, yung mga ganyan-ganyan, parang gano'n.
Correct. Kaya nga, ano eh, kumbaga what very few people understand is yung mga noise sa social media, a lot of them are troll generated. And yung troll handlers were hired or are coming from the house, kumbaga. So it has affected some of the conversations sa social media. Kaya nga surprise yung election results. Kasi tayo, sanay na tayo, nakikita na natin all these nega comments. And if masyado kang babad sa social media, isipin mo talaga na ganun talaga iniisip ng mga tao. So for me, the simpler story wins eh. In the case of VP Inday, kailangan pa nilang i-explain bakit nila nabuksan yung confidential funds na yan. Bakit nila pinilit na ilabas ng COA yung mga names na nakatago. These are in sealed envelopes. So dun pa lang, baka magkaroon ng exclusions. Hindi naman kasi nakalagay na na the names of those who benefited from the confidential funds are will result in an exclusion of this as evidence. Pero may fighting chance eh. Alam mo yan? Ang linaw naman ng memorandum na hindi dapat binubuksan yan. So one of the issues rin that we should keep harping on is itong 19th Congress, para silang yung walang mali para sa kanila. If they do something, even if it was morally ambiguous or legally ambiguous, wala silang feeling na last lang pake kung kung labag sila sa batas or hindi.
Correct.
And so, hindi na sila ganun ka-credible as Rara Boys for the impeachment. Hindi na sila ganun ka-credible as yung taga-usig dito sa kaso ni VP Inday. Plus, yun na nga, super confident si VP Inday eh. And natatawa ako kasi wala naman nagbago in terms of the evidence available and all that. Ang nagbago, yung level of confidence ni VP Inday. Tapos ang feeling ko is natutunaw lahat ng mga kalaban niya kasi wala silang maisagot eh. Somebody who is facing impeachment and possible disqualification pero ganito ka confident magsalita, kabahan yung mga kalaban.
I think at saka after nung result nung election, Attorney Trix, pagkatapos yung ganitong mga statement ni Inday na yung legal team ko very confident sila, ganyan-ganyan, ang diskarte nila ganito, pero ako ayoko, gusto ko ng trial, gusto ko ng harapang bardagulan, gusto ko ng bloodbath.
Diba?
Talagang I mean, I think by now they understand yung ni Inday na pag meron siyang gustong ilalaban talaga niya ng patayan. I think by now they are starting to understand kung bakit sinabi ni PRRD na mas matindi tong si Inday kaysa sa kanya. Kasi si Inday yung parang remember nung sa yung Committee on Good Governance and Public Accountability, yung kay Joel Chua. There was a kwento na which Inday also verified na nilalapitan sila na sige parang hindi na lang idadamay yung mga tao mo basta umamin ka na lang. Parang gano'n. Yung parang basta bigyan lang sila ng material ni Inday na yung parang kumbaga magbendani ka na lang. Gano'n. Magbendani ka na lang pagkatapos hindi na madadamay yung mga mo, yung mga tao mo tatapusin na namin tong lahat ng to, ganyan. And Inday did not flinch. So, sige, talaga kukulong niyo yung tao ko. Di kulong niyo yung tao ko. Pag kinulong yan, sasamahan ko yan sa kulungan. Ganyan. And true enough, hindi talaga iniwan ni Inday yung hindi talaga iniwan ni Inday yung mga tao niya, sinamahan niya. Although, of course, syempre, unfortunately, no, yung, kaya, kahit paano ako, rin ako dun sa mga tao ni Inday who attended and accepted who receive yung mga pababalahura ng House of Representatives sa kanila, no? I think nasa kill list na ni Inday yan lahat na ng balahura dun sa mga tao niya. Nasa kill list na ni Inday yan. Pero yung point is hindi mo talaga mapapabenda ni si Inday. No?
Tanggapin pa niya yung kulong kaysa gawin niya yan.
Oo, totoo. And ngayon, naiintindihan na nila pagkatapos yung tide nag-change na. Yung resulta ng election, even if, they weren't able to do, because of the massive support na na-receive ni Inday at saka ng tatay niya, they weren't able to do what they want for this election. Kaya nga dun sa mga, medyo segue lang ako ng onte dun sa mga nadi-disappoint dun sa Duterte, yung, ang onti na nakapasok, 3 lang yung nakapasok sa Duterte, ganyan. Huwag kayong ma-disappoint. Kasi, kung meron tayong 5 ngayon, okay? Kaya tayo may 5 ngayon, dahil nag-black vote tayo. It is the result of the consolidated votes. Ganon. Kasi nga, nahirapan sila. Kung hindi tayo nag-black vote, baka ang alyansa lahat ng nandyan.
Correct.
Nag-black vote tayo. So, the result might not be yung intention, yung intended result natin, makapasok yung mga kandidato natin. But the mere fact na nag-black vote tayo, at ganyan yung naging resulta ng election, the reason for this result is because nag-black vote tayo. Nag-consolidate tayo, nag-unify tayo dun sa voting behavior natin. And they weren't able to do exactly what they wanted to do for the midterm election. So it is a result of the overwhelming votes. Kaso nga lang, hindi yung hindi yung directly resulting to the win of the candidate that we want to win. Ayun. Pero nevertheless, hindi nila napigilan yung hindi nila napigilan pumasok yung mga kandidato natin na gusto nating makarating doon.
Yung black vote was to prevent, even if merong mga weak candidates, assuming ito kasi wala pa tayong final feedback from COMELEC, wala pa silang reaction dun sa mga overvotes, di ba? Pero assuming na totoo yung election results, the purpose of the black vote was to prevent yung iba na magamit nila yung boto o yung undervote natin para maka-ahead sila. So, yun, masaya pa rin. It was the correct strategy.
Yeah. Hindi nila nagawa yung gusto nilang gawin. Ultimately, they weren't able to do what they wanted to do for the election, for the midterm election.
Actually, dito sa atin, it wasn't so much which of the candidates or ilang candidates na ipanalo na natin. Para sa akin, yung win dito is yung ilan ng kandidatong natalo dun sa alyansa.
Correct. That's how we should look at it, no?
Saya nga
Tama. Tsaka walang napanalo si BBM na kahit isang kandidato. Buti pa si Martin. Meron siya Erwin Tulfo.
Oo, di ba? Tapos yung iba, sumakay lang for the campaign machinery. Yun ang sinabi ni Senator Ping Lacson
Immediately after the proclamation, Attorney Trix, binanatan niya na agad yung GAA.
Correct. Yan
diba?
yun.
So, parang, kung ako rin naman si Senator Ping, I will not really feel indebted sa alyansa kasi Tumaas ko nga sa sa survey nung una.
Diba?
Dahil dikit ako ng dikit dito sa alyansa, doon pa ako nadehado, 'di ba? So parang rin yung parang I think ano ba si Ping Lacson? Ping Lacson is 7. 7. Mataas siya sa sabagay parang around the same nga rin pala. Pero ibig ko sabihin, kunti nga rin siyang madali kasi yung mga negative na pinupukol sa administration, nadadaplisan siya Nadadaplisan siya. So, ayun.
Ako ang iniintay ko, so nagkakagulo na at lahat, wala pa rin yung wala pa rin pinapakitang leadership si BBM. Wala talaga. Tapos in the meantime, walang pera, so I'm expecting more loans. Mas marami pa, maglo-loan pa uli tayo. Ay. Oh well. Tapos mag-oral argument sa Supreme Court.
Oo nga, Attorney Trix. Na na-postpone, supposedly May 19 Dapat today. Pero na-postpone. Ayun.
Yeah.
Attorney Trix, may question si Jax Wong. Sabi niya, kaninong loss ang pinaka-satisfying daw?
Kaninong loss?
Ngayong election na to, kaninong loss daw yung pinaka-satisfying?
-1 Tulfo Para sa akin yung did not expect that. Kasi akala ko magkadikit lang si Erwin at saka. Plus, si Erwin did not come out as number 1. Diba? He was projecting number 1 na nga ako nung lumabas yung issue. So, dun sa Senate, it's the shutout of 1 Tulfo, tapos yung nahulog, lumaglag talaga to what, 5th or 6th si Kong Erwin. Tapos dun sa syempre yung mga nemesis natin sa Congress, ang saya-saya yun. Fernandez pala.
Dan Fernandez, oo.
Diba?
Dan Fernandez. Pinaka-satisfying na pagkatalo. Kasi yung kay Pambaricuato ang legendary din nung pagkapanalo.
Dragon Slayer talaga.
Oo. Matindi rin yung kay Pambaricuato. Kasi biruin mo si Pambaricuato, ang dala lang niya, Duterte endorsement.
Oo.
Diba? PRRD endorsement. Although, to be fair, kasi nag-align rin talaga yung stars ni Pam dahil yung kapatid ni Governor Gwen, ni Gwen Garcia, 2 weeks before the election, Attorney Trix, kung ano-ano yung pinagsasabi niya sa mga Duterte supporters.
Grabe nga siya.
Oo. Kung ano-ano sabi niya, kayo mga Duterte supporter, baka oplok kayo.
Oo. Oo, yan.
Ganun siya. So ngayon, etong mga Cebuano na very, very confrontational, na parang, syempre parang, kasi itong mga Cebuano, di ba, even last year pa lang, ay kahit nitong kailan ba yun yung Sinulog Festival, di ba yung nagpunta doon sila Risa, sila Chel, sila Bam, yung nagpakita sila sa event sa Sinulog, binu sila ng mga tao. Binu sila ng mga Cebuano doon, tapos yung talagang yung mga Cebuano talaga halos Duterte, ganun din talaga sa pagmumukha.
In your face talaga.
Oo, in your face talaga. Hindi ko alam kung anong iniisip na to ni Byron Garcia na i-trigger niya ng bonggang-bongga yung mga Duterte supporter sa Cebu. And I think that consolidated the votes for Pam.
Kasi I think that surprisingly, for somebody who belongs to a political family, he doesn't know that politics is addition. Pagdating sa election, I think mas skew na yung idea ng campaigning. This is not 2016. Yung bardagulan ng 2016, wag yung i-export dito sa midterm and sa next elections. Because, number 1, sui generis si PRD. Okay? People were taking shots at him. Ang ginagawa namin, sinasalag namin yung mga yon. So, kung nagkakaroon ng bardagulan, okay lang. Kasi solid na solid yung lead ni PRD. Solid na solid yung following niya. And that no matter what, yung kumbaga, the 2016 elections, yung DDS did not feel the need to be obsequious. He did not feel the need na to beg for votes for him. Solid na yung boto. Salag lang ng argumento ang ginagawa namin.
Correct.
So, and they mistake the pambabalahura for what we were doing na nagsasalag ng argumento. So they think that insulting people is the same as our bardagulan in 2016.
Yes. Yun yung mistake nila. Oo. Tama. Agree.
Hanggang ngayon, they're still making that mistake. They still think na pag ininsulto mo yung vlogger, nakapuntos ka. What they don't know is that the vlogger will be around long after your political career has ended, and it's going to be a short-lived one kung ganyan kayo.
Tama, ayun. Ngayon, itong si Byron Garcia, I think it's parang culmination ng iba't ibang mga factors like yung 20 pesos na bigas, syempre,
Ayun,
mga Cebuano doon, ganyan. So, ayun. So, kumbaga parang kasi, parang yung kasi yung mga Cebuano, yung parang inasar ng todo-todo. Inasar siya ng todo-todo.
Push too far.
Oo, tapos pinush nila ng bonggang-bongga yung galit. Itong gigil nito mga Cebuano. Ayan, lumabas tuloy sa boto.
Ayan.
Lumabas tuloy sa boto. And talaga, inislay talaga ni Pam si Gwen Garcia.
I love it.
Ayun.
I think it was also time for Gwen to go. Parang kumbaga sa house guest, you've overstayed your welcome.
Yeah, oo.
I mean, I still give a nod to her the way she has protected Cebu's heritage sites and yung kultura ng Cebu. Pero some of the pronouncements that she made during COVID, mahirap talagang kalimutan. Yung pseudoscience niya.
True.
Ay.
Ayun. Nakakaloka. Ay, yung kay Abante kasi, well, I think yung Manila Manila congressman. Kasi I knew it na parang nung pinuntahan ni Inday ang district ni Chua Valeriano ni Abante sa Manila, I felt na gagawin ng lahat ni Tambi or kung sino man ang sumusuporta dito sa mga to, gagawin nila ang lahat in order for these guys to win.
Correct.
Ganun. Gagawin na. So parang ina-expect ko na rin yan na naku, mukhang mukhang matinding dugas na mangyayari dito sa Manila. Ganyan. Yung kay Abante, satisfying na despite that, natalo siya ni Joey Uy. Despite that, natalo siya ni Joey Uy. Yung dalawa nanalo pa rin, pero yung panalo nila, yung win nila is hairline win.
Sabit.
So, ibig sabihin, kinulang pa nung kuntikan pang kulangin nung machinery nila yung sungkitin yung panalo para dito sa dalawang to, kay Valeriano at kay Joel Chua.
So, plus, di ba, actually, a couple of years or so ago, narinig ko na, kinikwentuhan ako ng mga mayors, mga congressmen, ng mga attorney tricks, iipiting kami sa 2025. Kaya kailangan nasa side kami ni Tambi. Kasi otherwise, wala kaming pondo for elections and all that. So they were really open about it to me. So, ngayon, nabigyan na sila at lahat, talo pa rin.
True. Ayun. Kaya, itong kila Chua at kila Valeriano, kahit nanalo tong mga to, parang, alam nila si Chua, nung proclamation niya, binastos siya ng mga Manileño ng
grabe.
I mean, Well, let us not pretend na nanalo kayo because people still like you. Nanalo kayo kasi yung 20% na pandurugas na hindi halata in-apply sa inyo.
Pero ang proven dito is that Inday is a deadly campaigner.